The Danbury Health Department needs to have a mechanism, condition of approval, in place to ensure that the project is implemented as proposed. The Connecticut DEP General Stormwater Permit requires regular site inspections. The Danbury Health Department should be kept informed of any problems or changes that may arise during the construction process. A plan can look good on paper, however, if it is not implemented as proposed, the wetlands and water resources surrounding the project can be negatively impacted. The Northwest Conservation District appreciates this opportunity to work in a cooperative effort with the Candlewood Lake Authority and the applicant's designing engineer to make this proposal more protective of surrounding wetlands and water resources. If the CLA or the Danbury EIC have any other environmental issues that they feel need to be addressed, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Sean Hayden. And I'd just like to follow up, I think in a previous hearing we had agreed to doing inspection reports during the construction process, which is going to be required by the DEP, but we'd be, happy to forward them also to the Danbury Health Department. And that's all we have.
The record show more Sue is here. Can you show me Sue's present? Do you have anyone else that will speak?
Well, Jim Collins here from who can answer any questions you have on the reports that were submitted a couple of weeks ago prior to the last meeting. Well, they weren't reviewed at the last meeting though. So if you have any questions concerning the biology of those reports, he can go over those with you.
Well, go to the public part of the hearing. Anybody have any questions? If not, anyone from the public wishing to speak on this issue? Elena,
I know it's been brought up before with regards to the salamander and the bald eagles, and one of my concerns is every day I travel down 37 to go home, and once a week now, I'm Helena Brontes, I live at 12 Fenton Road, and once a week now on my way home, I see a dead deer on the side of the road, and it's getting worse and worse as more development is going down in that area of Danbury. And it is a major concern because it's damaging the vehicles, it's damaging property because it's coming on the deers are coming on people's properties and eating all of the greenery around. So I do have a concern with more development because we're displacing all of the animals up in that area, and usually I have to stop to let the wild turkeys cross the road. So, but also, I had a young girl that came to my restaurant last week. She is 10 years old. Her name is Jordan Nolan. And she gave me a poem and asked me to read this today before the committee. And basically the poem says, "Animals are sweet, they can't be beat. Please try, don't let them die. Go to City Hall and fight for them all." So I promised her I would read that because she does have a concern, and her dad is a developer in the city of Danbury. Thank you.
anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
You've about seen enough of me, but this is it. 5th meeting.
Please state your name.
Gerhard Brunner, 63 Bear Mountain. I had an issue which I brought up last meeting, which was Area 1, concerning Area 1, and that's my biggest problem if that is not taken care of properly. I suggested that perhaps we can abolish that area or combine it with one and make it 1 and 2, Area 1 and 2. Because my concern is the water runoff and the wetlands there. And if too much disturbance is taking place by removing trees, I'm going to have nothing but a mud pile like they have down in California. And it's just going to wind up in my house or my patio. And I would appreciate if there's something that could be done about Area 1. where I feel a little better about the present plan. Other than that, if whatever happens to this proposal, are we going to be notified in one way or another? The people that surround the area?
And we'll be voting on it January 9th.
Oh, that's the meeting, January 9th. Okay, I guess that's all I got for now, today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The record show Commissioner Soriano is there.
My name is Henry Erickson. I live at 51 Bear Mountain Road. Mr. Chairman, fellow members of the council, I am strongly opposed to this development for the simple reason that down the road, I think it's going to have an impact on Candlewood Lake. And Candlewood Lake is in bad enough shape now without any more sewage or any drainage going into the lake. So I oppose this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this project?
Good evening.
The microphone. For the record, we're Kirk and Mindy Van Ostrand of 75 Bear Mountain Road.
Van Ostrand.
Van Ostrand. Pardon my late arrival this evening. I'm sorry I didn't hear what was said before. It wasn't time for dramatic purposes. I just am joining my wife tonight. We want to be here to say once again of our reluctance to see the project go forward. We're concerned about, actually we're very sincerely concerned about the ridge of land that is, I think, identified as Neversink Mountain. And in particular, we're concerned, pardon me, also for the well-being of our well, whether it be an issue of going dry or becoming contaminated, blasting nearby that may cause that, and also just the additional housing in the proximity. The foundation of our house, which I would say has never been flooded, we are concerned if it becomes cracked or shifted, again, due to blasting or any other way. And the overall destruction of wildlife habitat is just something that we are lamenting to see happen. That's it.
I just want to add that we're also concerned there's an awful lot of flooding already from the mountain. As you know, the drainage is not really good on the mountain, and it just gushes, and we already have water that just gushes down our driveway every time we have any kind of a storm. And we're concerned about that water just ending up directly down into our house. And, you know, I'm really concerned that, you know, once these houses are built, I mean, there is no going back. The problems are there, and that's it. There's nothing we can do at that point. And, you know, we really just want to avoid the mistake before it happens. There's a lot of really precious wildlife up on the mountain, and we'd really like to preserve that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there's one remark that I'd like to add. It was told to me at one meeting before when I spoke that this is not a zoning or anything kind of meeting, so I realize we're not talking about traffic flow, but once again, there is a foreseeable environmental impact to that, which necessarily will take place in the future as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this project? Sign in and state your name and address.
Okay, Errol Gunn, 47 Lake Drive South, in Fairfield, Connecticut. From the meetings that I've attended, the public hearings I've attended, a lot was brought up, and we have to stack the negatives and the positives, and it seems like there's very little positive other than people having waterfront homes or lake access homes. That's about it. Otherwise, it's all negative. It's negative on the ecology of the land. It's negative on the people who live there. Their homes are going to be damaged, destroyed. It's negative on Candlewood Lake. It's all negative. You have a very important vote on January 9th. Let's all, I don't envy you guys. Definitely have a lot on your shoulders. But let's all do the right thing. Let's do the right thing for Candlewood Lake. Let's do the right thing for the neighborhood. Let's do the right thing for Danbury. Candlewood Lake is well overdeveloped. Everybody knows that. The Lake Authority knows that. FERC knows that. The power company knows that. We all know that. It's just basic knowledge. There's too many boats on there. There's too many houses on there. The lake is deteriorating. Let's stop it. Let's stop the insanity, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Name is Victor Westman, 52 Bear Mountain Road. I would just like to voice my opposition to this whole thing, although it's probably going to come through, a part of it anyway. But to see the environment further destroyed in the area, and I can tell you that I've been up there for near 75 years, and I've seen it go from an environment that was the end of the agricultural environment into a suburban environment or urban environment. And it's all been deterioration from one day to the next. And it's got to the point now where there's so much deterioration with zoning violations on houses that have been built, other houses and garages built on other people's properties and everything else. It all seem to got through the zoning and nobody knows how it got through. People don't know where half the places are, and this is what's going to happen. This is just a further deterioration of this whole thing. Now, the couple that was up here just a little while ago talking about their house on the side of the mountain, that's the mountain that I brought up here a few weeks ago. They call Never Sink Mountain. And that's a mountain that really should be left alone. If there's going to be a development into that properties, there's other parts of that property that probably could be built on, but not on that mountain. That mountain is very, very ecologically fragile. And it's going to be an eyesore to put houses up there anyway, but whether or not whether it looks good or whether it doesn't look good, it's going to be very detrimental to the environment, and not only to the people living already on the side, on that slope, but also for the fact that there's all ledge and everything up there, and there's going to be continuous or an awful lot of blasting and an awful lot of for building roads, to building septic systems, to building foundations of the houses. It's not going to be a very pleasant experience to look up there, or experience for the contractor or make the contractor make money on it. But I mean, as far as the, it's a negative sort of a thing to me to think that would either be disturbed, that mountaintop up there. And that's one thing that I voice my opinion on my opposition to it. The other part is going in off Bear Mountain Road. I think that lot number one, or area number one, should not really be bothered, or they should be left alone. If anything, they could fill in that borrow pit that was in there, that was when John Wage put the road in down there in 1948, they took that fill out of that borrow pit, it's a big puddle in there now. It's not really a wetland, but it's a puddle because the water has no place to go. But that could be leveled off and cleaned up, and the first house should be at least 100 feet from that pit, that number one lot. I think the houses would, if they are going to build houses in there, they probably would be a decent kind of a job if it's done right, and it's done rather in that area beyond lot number one. That little piece of land through there is probably buildable. It's about the only part that's on the whole properties that is buildable. Most of this property is steep. It's gorgeous property, full of hemlocks, side hill, steep side hills. And it's the best thing for this whole thing would be to preserve it, but money talks, and you know what happens. But that's about all I can say about it. I just would like to see if it's going to be done, it'd be done right. And I think that we can't stop progress, but we can also slow down destruction. That's about all I can say, and thank you very much for your time. Yeah.
Anyone else in the public wishing to speak on this item? Anyone on the dais have anything to say? Staff report?
For the record, Danbury Health Department, I'd like to submit for the record the staff report, environmental assessment, and I'll just go over, the highlights. I tried to focus in. There's been a lot of testimony. We're trying to focus in on what our charge is here. That's protecting wetlands and water courses. And looking through the material, really they're only asking to fill the one burrow pit wetland that was just described by the gentleman before me, and then their mitigation is that's been offered is proper to offset that. Another feature, the positive feature of the project is 47.5 acres of open space. It's going to be dedicated, never to be built on. So it's shoreline, and also I believe ridge line, which is really not our focus here. Stormwater impacts have been mitigated through the plan, if the plan is carried out. Feasible and prudent alternatives. The most important alternative that the applicant talked about was a conventional land subdivision. And the cluster is a far better option. More land set aside and whatnot, and protection of the large wetland in the center.
Anyone have any questions? Yes, Rob.
Dan, with reference to feasible and prudent alternative, I just wanted to have you clarify the last paragraph, actually the last sentence in the last paragraph on the first page, where you say, as discussed herein, the commission may reasonably conclude that the alternative analysis offers no feasible and prudent alternative. Can you explain that?
Meaning that a feasible and prudent alternative does not exist. If there was one, then we would have to deny the application. So it's in the negative, the way the rule is written.
Okay, because it seemed you did go on in the report and indicate that the applicant had performed a feasible and prudent alternatives analysis. I didn't quite understand the wording, but that explains it.
Anyone else have any questions of Mr. Baruti? Remarks?
I have a couple questions if I may,
Sure,
some
go ahead.
clarification.
Go ahead.
For the applicant, mostly, sometimes, well, the role of the Northwest Conservation District is, depending on the application, somewhat fluid. So I just want to clarify, what was their role in this application? What agency, or who asked them to make comments?
Well, Paul Jaber, for the record. They were hired exclusively by the Candlewood Lake Authority. The applicant had nothing to do with them. But, and I'm sure you've had much more experience with the Northwest Conservation than I have, but months ago, I had asked, nothing to do with this application, I had asked Sean Hardy, what's his last name? Sean Hayden, Hardy. Sean Hayden, who they represent and what his role is. And he said they virtually exclusively represent either municipalities or agencies such as the Candlewood Lake Authority. So your initial comment about their representation is fluid, I assume you mean they represent developers and agencies. That wasn't his response to me when I asked it on a matter that had nothing to do with this. His response was 99% of the time, virtually 100% of the time, he said to me they represent either municipalities or Candlewood Lake Authority type agencies, not developers. So I'm just saying that I sort of disagree with you on that point.
There was actually an application before us where they were employed by the applicant.
That's right. And in that application, if you recall, without getting into any dispute here tonight, we indicated to you that the applicant was asked to hire them by the municipality.
Okay.
And that's how they got involved. I didn't know who they were. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. A couple of more questions. The Candlewood Lake Authority, other than Conservation District, has the Candlewood Lake Authority on their own had any follow-up comments with regard to the application? And the reason I ask is if I recollect, they initially made some comments either directly or through, and this would be the second part of my question, through a consultant, an additional consultant, which I believe was Steve Trinkus.
Trinkus, right.
And just questioning or wondering whether Candlewood Lake Authority or Steve Trinkus has made any follow-up comments, or if the Conservation District's comments represent, you may not know this, represent the final comments for that group, for that organization.
At the last meeting, I don't think you were here, Mark, at the last meeting, we submitted an email from the Candlewood Lake Authority, the director, indicating that, and I'll paraphrase it because I don't have it in front of me, maybe you have it, indicating that the designs were acceptable to them. And then it was asked by Mr. Mills that we try to get a letter from Sean to further support those comments. So that's in the record. I don't know if you have another copy of it, Bill? No, not that. There was an email last meeting.
Oh, it's in the chairman's file.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
okay.
have a
That's
copy of it.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That answers your question. And one more, if I may. The disposition of the open space, specifically, how will that be held?
There was a meeting of the Danbury Land Trust, the City Conservation Commission, I think the Health Department, I'm not sure, and the Mayor's Office, someone from the Mayor's Office, I don't know who, to discuss how that was going to be disposed of. And the initial reaction was to, the initial vote of that group, also Dennis Elprin was there, was to convey the property to the Danbury Land Trust. So which was fine by us. Then they invited me to meet with them. And when we met with them, we looked at the regulations, and the regulations don't permit that. The zoning regulations, for some reason, don't permit that type of conveyance. So what we decided was we would create a conservation easement over that property, grant it to the Danbury Land Trust, and retain title ourselves. The other alternative is to convey it to the city, which we'd be willing to do, but the city wanted it this other way. They wanted us to create a conservation easement, convey that easement to the Danbury Land Trust, and us to retain title.
Did I not hear in the beginning of the application some talk of adding space to the, this is adjacent to adding it to the
Yeah.
Bear Mountain Reserve?
Right.
Okay.
Well, that wasn't my decision. That was
Right.
that group's decision to do it that way.
Yeah.
The regulations do allow us to convey it to the city, but I don't know. I wasn't at that meeting where they decided that's how they wanted it.
Thank you.
Anything further, Mr. Seuss?
No, sir, thanks.
Anyone else? Now I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing for regulated activity number 768.
I'll second
Motion made and seconded to close public hearing on regulated activity number 768. Any remarks? All those in favor, vote your usual way.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. There'll be a vote on it January 9th.
Thank you.
No, Christmas shopping. I gotta do Christmas shopping. I gotta get this done.
Next item on the agenda, old business. 35 Candlewood Road, regulated activity number 760. Have in your packets, information supplied by staff and approved by Corporation Council. Our charge here tonight is to approve or disapprove. It's not his property. You have anything to say? Yeah, it's going to
Director Danbury Health Department. As a previous large application, we have two draft motions, one to approve and one to deny. And I hope the commissioners had a chance to review them, and if you had any questions or want to go over the highlights.
I know this is the format we're adopting, but I mean, the appropriate way to think is accept or deny, and would be if you want to make a motion to approve. To accept the approval with the several conditions.
Yeah.
Well, I read through them, this will be a discussion, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, we've done this before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's kind of a little bit
And
better format.
you would have a motion to adopt